Welcome. Tonight you will travel back almost 2,000 years to a warm, lively, sunlit city on the Bay of Naples. A city full of art, color, laughter, beauty, and everyday life. A city that lived quietly under the shadow of a mountain that people believed was simply a hill. Pompeii. What you will experience is not a tragedy, not destruction, not fear, but calm, peaceful, ordinary life, exactly as it was one day before the eruption. No one was afraid. No one rushed. No one imagined that tomorrow would be different. And this makes the world you're about to enter even more fascinating. A frozen moment of history, rich with details, color, and humanity. Take a slow breath and let the ancient world open before you. You continue walking. The sky brightens to soft gold, illuminating fresco-painted walls, red, blue, yellow, all still vivid despite the centuries. A woman steps out of her home, sweeping dust from her doorstep with a bundle of twigs. Her tunic is simple, tied with a belt. She hums a tune as she works, a melody she probably learned from her mother. Further down the street, a water seller fills jars for the day. Pompeii received clean water through a complex aqueduct system, filling cisterns and fountains throughout the city. You hear the soft splash of water spilling into stone basins. A small group of children runs by, laughing softly, barefoot, chasing a small clay ball. They remind you. Pompeii was a real city, full of ordinary lives. Nothing dramatic, nothing extraordinary. Human, warm, peaceful. As the sun rises fully, you step into the Forum, the central square. Columns line the perimeter, their shadows stretching long across the stone floor. Vendors set up their stalls. A man arranges baskets of figs and olives. A woman displays bolts of dyed cloth, purple, deep red, bright yellow, the famous Pompeian colors. A man selling pottery quietly places amphorae in a neat row. Each amphora is stamped with a mark. The name of the producer, the type of wine, the region, all historically accurate. A priest from the Temple of Jupiter walks slowly across the square, his white toga brushing the ground. He nods to the vendors with quiet dignity. Nothing in the Forum feels rushed. The day is beginning, but gently. Next, you enter one of Pompeii's 30-plus bakeries, all discovered in excavations inside. Massive stone mills stand in place, their bases wide and shaped like hourglasses. Slaves or donkeys usually turned them, grinding flour slowly throughout the morning. You watch as workers lift sacks of grain, pouring them into the top of a millstone. The stone turns with a deep, calming rumble, steady, rhythmic, ancient, near the oven. Fresh loaves are ready to bake. The baker scores the tops with careful lines. These markings are real, found on carbonized loaves in the ruins. The smell is warm, comforting, timeless. As morning becomes late morning, you walk toward the Stabian Baths, one of the oldest and best preserved bathhouses in Pompeii inside. The floors are decorated with mosaics, real, historically accurate mosaics of dolphins, flowers, and geometric patterns. The air grows warmer as you move deeper. You hear the splash of water in the frigidarium, the cool room where people refresh themselves. A mosaic of a muscular athlete decorates the wall. The design still exists today. In the tepidarium, warm steam fills the air. Walls painted in bright red and gold shine under oil lamps. People speak quietly. Conversations are relaxed. About weather, about business, about children, about nothing urgent. Roman baths were not only for bathing, they were for relaxing, socializing, slowing down, perfect for sleep storytelling. As you leave the Stabian Baths, the city grows livelier. Shutters open, children run through the streets, and the scent of warm bread floats in the air. The sun is now fully awake, casting soft golden light on the white limestone walls and fresco-painted homes. You enter a more residential district, where some of Pompeii's wealthiest families lived. Here, the walls are higher, the doors sturdier, and the streets quieter. A woman in a pale blue stola steps carefully across the stepping stones that line the roadway. The raised stones that kept Roman feet dry during rain, her sandals tap softly against the stone. She carries a woven basket with herbs, figs, and a small clay jar of olive oil. Further ahead, a servant carefully sweeps the street in front of his master's house. He moves slowly, methodically, pushing dust to the side with a broom of long reeds. The sound is soft and rhythmic, blending into the calm morning air. Pompeii's residential areas were peaceful, orderly, warm. Homes stood side by side, each with its own story, its own family history. And now, you are about to step inside one of the city's most famous homes. You reach a large entrance framed by high stone pillars. Above the threshold lies a mosaic greeting. Have, welcome. This is the House of the Faun, one of the largest and most luxurious residences in Pompeii. You step inside. The atrium opens before you, its rectangular pool, the impluvium, reflecting soft daylight from the roof opening above. Water gathers from the morning air, shimmering gently. The walls around you are covered in frescoes, deep red panels, framed mythological scenes, delicate patterns of vines and flowers. To your left stands the famous bronze statue of a dancing faun, small, elegant, full of movement. He seems to greet every visitor with joyful energy. You walk further, your footsteps soft on the mosaic floors. In the distance, you see one of the most remarkable artworks ever found here, a mosaic depicting the Battle of Issus, Alexander the Great charging forward on horseback. Every stone piece in the mosaic is tiny, no bigger than a grain of rice. Thousands of pieces arranged with unimaginable patience and skill. You lean closer, noticing the details. The fear in the eyes of soldiers, the shine of a bronze shield, the dust of battle. This artwork once decorated the home of a powerful family and still tells its story hundreds of years later. But today, in this moment, the house is quiet. Sunlight moves slowly across the floor. A faint breeze brushes through the courtyard, and you feel the stillness of a world that lived long before you, yet remains alive through every detail. Leaving the House of the Faun, you walk along a long road leading out of the city center. Vines grow along the walls. The distant fields shimmer under the rising sun. You soon reach a grand estate just outside the city walls, the Villa of the Mysteries, famous for its deep red frescoes and mysterious ritual scenes. Inside, the air is cool. The villa's corridors are lined with paintings unlike anything else in the Roman world. You enter the great chamber with the fresco cycle. A room painted entirely in rich crimson-red figures dance around the walls. A woman reading from a scroll, another being prepared for a ritual, a satyr playing a lyre, and winged spirits moving softly through the scenes. Scholars still debate what these images represent. A religious ceremony, an initiation into a mystery cult, a celebration of life. No one knows for certain, but what matters now is the feeling. The room is silent, warm, ancient. The red walls glow softly, and you feel like you're stepping into a dream, a moment suspended in time, alive with secrets. You walk slowly along the frescoed walls, tracing the stories painted by artists nearly 2,000 years ago. Their hands once held brushes exactly in these spots. Their eyes once saw the same red tones. Their imagination still whispers through every line. You leave the chamber quietly, respectful of its beauty. Back outside, Pompeii has fully awakened. The streets are livelier now. You hear pottery clinking metal tools, tapping vendors calling softly, conversation drifting through open windows, dogs barking gently, a child singing a simple tune, the steady splash of a street fountain. Every sound blends into the warm background of life. Not loud, not overwhelming, just alive. A pair of men pass by carrying a large amphora. The clay vessel is sealed with wax and stamped with the mark of the producer, a detail found on real amphorae unearthed here. A woman sells garlands of fresh flowers. She arranges them into circles and strings, their scent sweet and calming. A young boy follows his father, who carries wooden tools, a carpenter going to his workshop. A fruit seller cuts open a pomegranate for a customer, the ruby seeds shining like tiny drops of sunlight. Life is everywhere, soft and warm. One thing becomes clear as you explore further. Pompeii was a city of color. Not white marble, not dusty ruins, but red walls, blue frescoes, yellow patterns, green garlands, and black glossy floors. You pause inside a modest home to look at a wall painting of a peaceful garden. Birds resting on branches, flowers blooming, a fountain trickling softly. These garden frescoes decorated dining rooms, bringing nature indoors. In another house, you see a fresco of Venus emerging from the sea, her skin soft, her hair golden, painted with delicate strokes. Nearby, a room is decorated with theatrical masks, a tribute to Pompeii's love of theater. Everything is artistic, imaginative, expressive. The people here embraced beauty in every corner of life. Their homes, their shops, their temples. You walk slowly, absorbing the colors, letting the artistry soothe your mind. Pompeii's art is not loud or dramatic. It's warm, human, inviting, timeless. Perfect for calming thoughts. As you walk through the neighborhood, the sun climbs higher. The light becomes brighter, casting sharp shadows across the stone streets. People begin slowing down. Shops prepare for the midday break. Some residents sit on benches outside their homes, talking softly, resting their feet. A woman holds a small clay cup of wine. Another carries bread wrapped in cloth. Two old friends play a simple board game called La Truncule, moving small stones across a wooden board. Even the city seems to breathe slower. There is no rush here, no urgency, only the calm rhythm of ancient life. You find a shaded corner beside a quiet courtyard. The sound of birds fills the air. A fig tree sways gently. A fountain bubbles softly in the center. It is a good moment to rest, to breathe, to feel the peace of this ancient world. As midday approaches, the markets of Pompeii grow livelier. The sun shines brightly, illuminating everything in warm, golden tones, and the air begins to hum with gentle activity. You head toward the Macellum, the main food marketplace, located near the Forum. At the entrance, a marble statue watches over the stalls, its features worn by time, its shadow stretching across the floor inside. The market buzzes quietly with the sounds of daily life. But even here, the atmosphere is relaxed, measured, never rushed. A fishmonger arranges his catch on a stone counter, fresh fish from the Bay of Naples still glistening. Next to him, baskets of shrimp, squid, and mussels sit on beds of crushed ice made from snow carried down from the mountains. A woman selling fruits lays out figs, apples, olives, and grapes. Their colors glow in the sunlight. Deep purple, dusty green, soft yellow. Another stall offers vegetables, cabbage, leeks, onions, beans, and cucumbers. all of them grown in the fertile volcanic soil around the city. You see garlands of garlic hanging from wooden beams, ceramic jars of honey, and bundles of herbs, mint, thyme, rosemary. A vendor cuts open a melon, the scent sweet and refreshing. He offers a slice to a passing customer. Nearby, a butcher trims a piece of pork, moving slowly and carefully. Roman meats were often seasoned with herbs or cooked in wine, and everything here smells warm, rustic, familiar. Children run through the aisles, their laughter blending into the soft chorus of voices. Everything feels alive, yet peaceful. You leave the main market and walk toward a row of thermopolia, small street-side food counters where Pompeians bought ready-made meals. Almost every block had one. Archaeologists found nearly 150 such counters in Pompeii, their stone surfaces still polished by thousands of hands. You stop at one. Large clay jars built into the counter hold stews and cooked dishes. One pot contains lentils simmered with olive oil and herbs. Another holds fish stew. A third contains chickpeas with garlic and spices. A woman ladles a portion into a bowl for a customer, speaking softly as she works. A man beside her grills small pieces of meat on a brazier, the scent drifting through the street, savory, warm, comforting. A group of workers sits nearby on stools, eating bread dipped in olive paste, drinking watered wine, talking about nothing urgent. Roman street food was simple, but it fed the city. Busy workers, travelers, merchants, and anyone who didn't cook at home. You take in the warmth, the smells, the gentle movement. As you continue down the street, you enter an area filled with small workshops, the beating heart of the city's craft and labor. The carpenter. A carpenter stands outside his shop, shaping a plank of wood with a long, sharp plane. The tool glides smoothly over the surface, leaving curls of fragrant wood shavings on the ground. Inside, wooden furniture is stacked along the walls. Tables, stools, chests, and bed frames, everything is handmade, crafted with patience and precision. The carpenter pauses, wipes his brow, and continues working with slow, practiced movements. The potter, further down. A potter works at a spinning wheel. His hands are steady as he shapes a clay bowl, the wheel turning with a rhythmic hum. Shelves behind him hold jars, cups, lamps, and amphorae, waiting to be fired in the kiln. The clay is cool and earthy between his fingers, its smell grounding and ancient. The wool dyers. A group of women tends vats of boiling dye. Purple from murex shells, red from madder root, yellow from saffron. The colors are vibrant, shining even in the shade. The scent of the dyes mixes with steam, creating a warm, herbal cloud that drifts gently through the air. The metalworker. From another shop comes the gentle tapping of metal. A bronze worker shapes a hinge for a door, hammering softly, never hurried. Sparks dance briefly, but quickly fade into the light. The perfumer. A perfumer, one of Pompeii's specialties, mixes oils inside small glass bottles: lavender, rose, myrtle, lotus. The scents blend into a delicate fragrance that lingers in the air. Tiny perfume bottles were found in Pompeii, many still containing traces of ancient oils. This entire street feels like a living museum. But in this moment, it is simply life as it was. You turn into a quieter set of alleys, lined with modest homes and small villas. Many houses have open courtyards, where sunlight filters in through the central roof opening, the compluvium, and collects rainwater in the basin below. You pass one such home. Inside, a mother sits weaving cloth on a wooden loom. Her movements are calm and steady, the heddle rising and falling with a soft, clicking sound. A child plays with a small terracotta doll nearby. Others draw patterns in the dust with sticks. Across the street, an older woman tends to a small garden. She waters herbs, basil, mint, savory, and checks on a fig tree growing in the corner of the courtyard. The garden walls are painted with frescoes of birds and landscapes, making the space feel larger than it is. This is the heart of Roman domestic life. Calm, intimate, filled with simple beauty. As noon passes, the sun grows hot. Stone streets heat up, and people retreat to the shade of their homes, shops, or public buildings. The air becomes still, warm, slow. Pompeii had its own version of a midday break. Not a strict siesta, but a gentle slowing of the city. Some shops close their wooden shutters. Workers rest on benches. A man leans against a fountain, dipping his hands in the cool water. Even animals grow quiet. A dog sleeps in the shadow of a doorway, its tail twitching slightly. You feel the calm settling over the city, as if everything is pausing for a moment. Peaceful, warm, silent. You sit beneath a shaded archway, listening to the quiet hum of distant voices, the occasional clatter of pottery, and the soft splash of a fountain. This is a city at rest, breathing gently under the midday sun. As the midday heat begins to soften, you make your way toward one of Pompeii's grandest structures, the Amphitheater. Built around 80 BC, it is the oldest surviving Roman amphitheater in the world, older than the Colosseum itself. You approach along a wide path lined with trees. The enormous elliptical shape rises before you, its stone arches catching the warm afternoon light. It feels ancient, solid, and yet calm and welcoming. Normally, amphitheaters echoed with the roar of crowds, the clash of gladiator battles, and the pounding of hooves in staged hunts. But today is a quiet day. No games, no noise. Only the gentle whisper of wind passing through the empty corridors. You step inside. The grand tiers of stone seating rise layer upon layer, forming a massive bowl of silence. Sunlight floods the arena floor. Dust dances slowly in the air. Your footsteps echo softly as you walk along the smooth stone steps. You hear the distant call of birds overhead, the rustle of leaves from the nearby gymnasium. The amphitheater is peaceful now, a sleeping giant of the city, resting under the golden sky. You imagine the crowds that once filled these seats, the colors, the cheers, the excitement. But here now, the place feels like a sanctuary, a monument to a world long gone, but still whispering its stories to those who listen. You sit for a moment on one of the stone benches. The warmth of the sun touches your face. The vastness of the space quiets your thoughts. You breathe slowly, deeply, feeling the timeless calm of this ancient arena. After a few minutes, you rise and walk toward the exit tunnels, their shadows cool and comforting. The echo of your footsteps follows you as you leave the amphitheater behind. Next to the amphitheater stands the large palaestra, a spacious gymnasium surrounded by a long colonnade of stone columns. Inside, the open courtyard is covered with soft grass. Tall plane trees provide patches of shade. In the center lies a rectangular pool of clear water, still and reflective. This was a place for athletic training, youth gatherings, and peaceful afternoons. Today, a group of young men practice with small leather balls, their movements quick but quiet. They toss, catch, and run, laughing softly. Another group performs exercises with long wooden staffs, their movements graceful, almost like a dance. Near the trees, an older coach sits on a bench, watching calmly, offering a few words of advice. A boy runs a lap around the courtyard, his feet making soft taps against the packed earth. You walk beneath the shade of the columns, your hand brushing the cool stone. The breeze carries the scent of grass and warm dust, mingling with distant laughter. It is easy to feel peaceful here. The palaestra was built for both strength and serenity. Leaving the palaestra, you walk through the streets toward one of Pompeii's most sacred places, the Temple of Apollo. Located near the Forum, columns rise around the temple in elegant rows, casting long shadows on the stone platform. A bronze statue of Apollo once stood in front, playing a lyre, a god of music, light, and healing. Archaeologists found copies of this statue, and today you imagine it standing where it once did. Catching the sunlight on its polished surface, you climb the broad steps. The stone is warm under your feet. Inside, the temple is quiet, filled with soft air and the faint scent of incense. A priest in white robes places a small offering on the altar, a basket of figs, olives, and flowers. He whispers a prayer, his voice calm and melodious. A woman approaches with a clay lamp, lighting it at the altar flame. She closes her eyes, her face serene. You stand near a column, listening to the quiet echoes of devotion. Roman religion was gentle in daily practice. A moment of gratitude, a small offering, a connection to something larger than oneself. The temple feels like a refuge from the world outside. Still, timeless, peaceful. A short walk away stands another temple. Very different, but equally fascinating. The Temple of Isis, dedicated to the Egyptian goddess of magic and rebirth. Its walls carry paintings of lotus flowers, papyrus leaves, and Nile scenes. The artwork is colorful and exotic, a reminder of how connected Pompeii was to the wider world. Inside, the air is cool and dim. Lamps flicker softly, casting golden reflections on the walls. A priestess in flowing white garments stands before the altar, pouring milk into a shallow bowl. An offering to Isis drums and flutes from earlier rituals still seem to echo in the space, even though now it is quiet. The temple had a small pool for sacred water. Brought from the Nile, you walk past it, its surface smooth and mirror-like. Standing here, surrounded by Egyptian imagery, you realize how cosmopolitan Pompeii truly was, not just Roman, not just Italian, but a blend of cultures, beliefs, and traditions. A city alive with diversity. From the temples, you follow a long street leading southeast toward the ancient coastline. In the 1st century, Pompeii was closer to the sea than it is today. The shoreline lay within walking distance, and harbors bustled with trade. As you walk, the breeze becomes cooler, carrying the scent of salt and seaweed. Palm trees sway gently. Birds circle overhead. Shops selling ropes, nets, and amphorae line the road. Caquilon. A fisherman sits outside mending a net, his hands working deftly. The fibers slip through his fingers with practiced ease. A group of sailors laugh softly as they haul a crate of goods, the wooden boards creaking quietly. The world feels broader here, connected to distant islands, foreign ports, and travelers from afar. You reach a small viewpoint overlooking the sea. The water stretches out calm and blue, glistening under the afternoon sun. Waves roll gently against the shore. Boats rock peacefully in the harbor. The sky is quiet, full of soft light. You sit on a stone wall and watch the horizon. The air is warm and soothing. The sea speaks in whispers, a language of calm and eternity. As the afternoon deepens, you walk back toward the heart of Pompeii. Shops reopen after the midday rest. Children chase each other across open courtyards. Women return from wells carrying jars of fresh water. The smell of baking bread once again fills the streets. A man plays a wooden flute outside his home, the melody light and wandering. A dog trots past carrying a piece of cloth in its mouth. Someone laughs. Somewhere, someone sings. The city feels warm, gentle, alive, as if wrapped in a golden blanket woven by the afternoon sun. This is daily life. Not dramatic, not extraordinary, but beautifully human, and you feel yourself settling deeper into calm, deeper into the rhythm of this ancient world, where time moves slowly, and every moment is filled with quiet detail. As the sun begins its slow descent toward the horizon, the air in Pompeii cools gently. The bright midday light softens into warm amber tones, shadows stretch long across the streets. The city exhales, as if settling into a calm, peaceful rhythm. Pompeii in the evening is one of the most beautiful places imaginable. The colors of the frescoes glow warmer. The stone streets shine faintly, reflecting the fading sunlight. The distant sound of the sea grows softer, blending with the murmur of evening voices. You walk through a narrow street where residents place small oil lamps outside their doors. They burn olive oil with wicks made of linen fibers. The flames flicker gently, casting golden patterns against the walls. A woman leans from her window, calling her children inside with a warm smile. A man returns from the fields carrying a small basket of vegetables for supper. A dog trots beside him, tail wagging slowly. Everything feels calm, welcoming, human. You step into a modest domus, invited by the warmth of activity inside. In the atrium, lamps hang on bronze hooks, their light shimmering on the water in the impluvium. The air smells of herbs, cheese, and fresh bread. The family gathers in the triclinium, the dining room where Romans reclined on couches during meals. The walls are decorated with soft garden frescoes, birds hidden among vines, trees bending gently, flowers blooming in impossible colors. A low table is set with simple dishes: olives, goat cheese, salted fish, figs, warm bread, small bowls of olive oil infused with herbs. A jug of watered wine stands in the center, the clay cool to the touch. The family speaks softly, sharing stories from the day. The youngest child describes a game he played in the palestra. The mother tells of a visit to the market. The father shares news from the forum. Laughter rises gently, never loud, always warm. This is not a reenactment. This is how life truly was. Archaeologists found tables, dishes, cups, even preserved food inside Pompeian homes, all pointing to scenes like this. You sit quietly in the corner, watching, listening, absorbing the gentle beauty of ordinary life in a world frozen by time. After dinner, you step back outside. The sun has nearly set. The sky above Pompeii glows in soft shades of orange and pink. Slowly fading into purple lanterns begin to appear one by one, filling the streets with a warm, golden haze. A group of young men walks by, speaking quietly, headed toward a nearby tavern. An old man sits by his doorway, polishing a small bronze figurine he found in the market. A simple charm, perhaps, bought as a gift for his grandson. A woman waters potted plants outside her home, the scent of wet earth rising gently into the cool air. The city is alive, but in a peaceful, unhurried way, you hear distant music, the soft tones of a lyre, accompanied by the gentle beat of a hand drum. Someone is practicing for tonight's small gathering. You follow the sound. You arrive at a popina, a small tavern with an open front, lit by 2 lamps hanging above the counter. Inside, the atmosphere is calm and friendly. A few men sit at wooden tables, speaking in low voices. A woman behind the counter pours wine into clay cups, adding a splash of water, the Roman way. On a raised platform in the corner, a young musician plays a lyre. His fingers move slowly across the strings, producing soft, wandering melodies. Every note floats through the air like a calm breeze. A man beside him taps a frame drum gently, keeping a steady, soothing rhythm. The two sounds blend into a peaceful harmony, ancient, timeless, meditative. This kind of tavern music was common in Pompeii. Archaeologists found instruments, wall paintings of musicians, and even graffiti praising local performers. You sit quietly near the doorway, watching people enjoying the evening. Two friends sharing roasted nuts, a traveler telling a quiet story, a woman smiling softly as she listens to the music, a merchant resting after a long day. The mood is gentle, inviting, safe. The music continues, slow and warm, like a heartbeat in the night. Leaving the tavern, you walk toward the main streets again. Oil lamps flicker in doorways. Candles glow inside windows. Bronze lanterns swing gently on iron hooks. A light breeze blows from the direction of the sea, carrying the cool scent of salt and distant waves. Curtains flutter in open windows, softly brushing against the walls. You pass a large house where two servants sweep the entryway. The brooms move across the stone in slow, soothing strokes. Above them, the doorway is decorated with a painted guardian spirit, a lar, protector of the household. In another street, a pair of lovers walks hand in hand, their silhouettes passing beneath the glow of a lantern. Their voices mix with short bursts of laughter, soft and warm. Every corner of Pompeii has its own evening rhythm, some quiet, some filled with gentle sounds, none rushed. You walk back toward the Stabian baths, drawn by the warm glow of lamplight spilling from the doorway. Inside, the temperature is pleasant. The pools reflect the golden light. The mosaic floors shimmer softly beneath the water. Only a few people remain, mostly older men and women enjoying a last moment of relaxation before night fully falls. Someone pours warm water from a bronze jug into a small basin, the sound echoing gently against the walls. In the tepidarium, a man sits on a low bench, breathing deeply, eyes half closed, letting the warmth loosen the tension in his shoulders. The baths, even in the evening, are a sanctuary of peace. You sit near a column, feeling the gentle heat in the air, listening to the soft chorus of water and quiet voices. The baths close soon, but for now they are perfect, a place where day slowly transforms into night. Stepping outside once more, you look up at the sky. The last traces of sunlight fade behind the silhouette of Mount Vesuvius. For the people of Pompeii, the mountain is simply a peaceful presence. A familiar friend on the horizon, its slopes appear purple in the dying light. A few stars are already beginning to appear above it, small and faint. The sky deepens to a rich blue, then to velvety black. The first constellations emerge, Orion rising, the Pleiades shimmering, Cassiopeia resting on her throne. For the ancient Romans, these stars carried stories, myths of heroes, gods, and distant adventures. But tonight, they simply offer calm illumination above the city. You take a slow breath, feeling the night settle gently around you. As evening moves toward night, the sounds of the city grow softer. Streets empty gradually. Shops close their shutters. Dogs curl into warm corners. Families gather for final conversations before sleep. A man extinguishes a lantern outside his house. The flame flickers once, then disappears with a faint whisper. In the distance, someone plays a final tune on a flute. A soft, wandering melody that drifts through the streets like a lullaby for the entire city. Pompeii glows with calm, wrapped in the beauty of ancient evening. The day is almost complete. Night approaches, rest draws near, and soon you will follow the city into peaceful sleep. The last traces of daylight fade quietly, leaving Pompeii wrapped in a soft, deep blue. Windows glow with the warm flicker of oil lamps. The sound of footsteps grows rare. The air cools gently, carrying hints of the sea and distant gardens. Night in Pompeii is peaceful, a rare kind of peace that feels untouched by time. You walk slowly along the quiet stone road. The city, so alive during the day, now settles into a calm whisper. A cat slips silently across a doorway, its shadow stretching long in the lamplight. A faint breeze stirs the linen curtains hanging from balconies. The scent of night-blooming flowers drifts from a nearby courtyard. You feel the whole city exhaling, relaxing, resting. You step into a modest home, invited by a soft glow spilling from the atrium. Inside, a small oil lamp burns beside the impluvium. The flame dances gently, casting rippling patterns across the water's surface. The family has finished their evening routines. The youngest child sleeps already, a small wool blanket pulled to his chin. The mother checks the final lamp, adjusting the wick so it will burn through the night. The father secures the wooden bolt on the door, its sound a quiet click that echoes softly in the stillness. In the corner, an older woman whispers a short prayer to the household spirits, the lares and penates, guardians of the family. She places a tiny offering of bread on a small shrine shelf, a tradition passed down for generations. The home feels warm, safe, filled with gentle shadows and soft breath. You remain still for a moment, absorbing the deep calm that fills the space. You step back outside and wander into a courtyard garden, one of the hidden treasures of Pompeian homes. The night sky above is clear, full of stars shining with ancient light. The courtyard walls, decorated with painted vines and birds, seem to blend into the darkness, creating the illusion of a vast, open landscape. A small fountain trickles in the center, its quiet flow echoing gently off the walls. The water catches the lamplight, reflecting tiny, shimmering stars upon the stone basin. You hear faint sounds of distant voices, soft, warm, fading, as neighbors say their last goodnights. A gentle breeze moves through the leaves of a fig tree, creating a whisper like a lullaby. You sit on a low stone bench and tilt your head toward the sky. For the people of Pompeii, this same constellation above you, Orion, the Pleiades, the Great Bear, carried stories of gods, heroes, and ancient journeys. Tonight, the stars simply offer a calm presence, guiding the city gently into sleep. You walk once more through the city's streets. They are nearly silent now. Only the softest sounds remain. The distant bark of a dog, the quiet knock of a shutter in the wind, the slow footsteps of a late traveler, the faint splash of water in a fountain. The stepping stones cast long shadows, their shapes softened by the amber glow of hanging lanterns. Graffiti, carved long ago by unknown hands, lines the walls. Poems, jokes, love declarations, now, in the quiet night. They feel like whispers from forgotten lives, echoes of laughter that drift gently through time. You walk past a bakery, its oven still faintly warm. A bag of grain rests by the door. Prepared for the next morning's bread, Pompeii sleeps, but the city lives even in silence. Near a street corner, a small group of the vigils, the Roman night watch, walks with slow, measured steps. They carry lamps and long wooden staff scepters. Their armor glints faintly in the moonlight. They speak quietly among themselves, their voices low and steady. They check doorways, lamps, and empty streets to ensure everything is safe. Their presence is comforting, a reminder that the city is protected even in the darkness. As they pass, they greet you with a polite nod Their footsteps fade slowly into the distance. You make your way toward a small hill overlooking the city, where you can see Mount Vesuvius rising above the rooftops. The mountain stands quiet and dark, its silhouette etched against the star-filled sky. To the people of Pompeii, it is simply part of the landscape, a peaceful guardian overlooking their lives. The moon rises above its slopes, casting a soft silver glow across the city. The rooftops shimmer faintly. The streets look like flowing rivers of shadow and light. From this vantage point, Pompeii feels timeless, suspended between earth and sky, caught in a beautiful moment of stillness. You take a deep breath, the air cool, fresh, lightly scented with distant sea breeze. This view, this calm, this peace stretches across centuries, waiting for you to find it. Descending from the hill, you return to the heart of Pompeii. Most lamps are extinguished now. Only a few remain, glowing dimly in windows. The city moves toward dreamland. You hear a final voice inside a nearby home, someone singing a quiet lullaby. The melody drifts through the street, gentle and slow, a song carried down from ancestors, sung to children who lived thousands of years ago. In another home, a father tells a bedtime story about a hero who traveled the sea. His voice is steady, calm, loving. The sound fades softly, like a candle reaching the end of its flame. Eventually, only the whisper of the night remains. You take one last walk through Pompeii. The stones beneath your feet still hold a little warmth from the day's sun. The air is still and gentle. The entire city feels wrapped in a blanket of quiet. You pass the Forum, empty now, its columns standing tall like guardians of silence. You pass the baths, doors closed, lamps extinguished. You pass the amphitheater, its grand shape fading into darkness, resting until the next gathering. You pass the houses, each one containing sleeping families, dreaming their ancient dreams everywhere. Night has settled softly, deeply, completely. You reach a quiet corner of the city, where a small fountain trickles endlessly. Its sound is steady, soothing, like a heartbeat from another time. You sit beside it, letting the peaceful rhythm wash over you. In this moment, Pompeii feels eternal. The warmth of its people, the beauty of its art, the gentle flow of its routines, all remain alive in this calm night. Take a slow breath and feel the ancient quiet settle within you. The lamps flicker softly, the stars shimmer faintly. The air grows cooler, and the world grows softer with every passing second. Let your thoughts drift away. Let the calm of ancient Pompeii cradle you. Let sleep approach gently, like the quiet step of night along the city streets. You are safe. You are calm. You are at rest. Good night, and may your dreams be filled with the quiet beauty of this ancient world.